tried to record this video about 3-4 times, but I kept getting interrupted, so I couldn't do it in one take. But I'm going to show you how I make happy Sonic VGM, or I guess like calm. I don't know the word. I already wrote everything, so I'm not gonna redo it, but I will explain how I did it. So I take a Jenny bass, or you could use a sound font, or you could use a bass from Nexus Sound Pack. I don't have it downloaded, but I heard it exists. So I just create, a basic bass line or riff. I try to use the root note of whatever chord I'm making, or whatever the key is. So like in G, I would make the bass progression of the first chord, use G a lot, or the fifth of G, which would be D. This helps to make the song more like structured, not structured. It's to let the listener's ear know where the home is for the song, or the tonic is. So I have this, and then I repeat it again. Actually, one more thing I should say is this note, F sharp, is not on key, but it sounds good because it's right below the tonic, or the root of the key. So in the key of G minor, the tonic is G. If you take that one note lower, you get F sharp, which, really it should be like this. But, a lot of VGM songs in FNF use like off-key notes, or at least just this off-key note. I know some Sonic games probably do that too, just none that I know of. I repeat it again, then I take the same melody, and then I change the chord. So this is G minor. I would put it in D minor. And then I change it again to D sharp major. So the chord progression is basically this. Once you simplify it, it is a 1, 5, 6. After that, I go and I make chords with that. So 1, 5, 6. Then I make triads. Triads is just another way for saying like 3 notes stacked on top of each other. And then I like to make them 7 chords, just because it sounds nice. Then the recording died. Anyways, after I take the chords, I just chop them up into like a melody. Not a melody, into a rhythm, to give the song more bounce. You could just let them play sustained, but I like to do like this. After that, you should have something like this. But that's too empty, so what I like to do is I take the chords, and then I turn them into an arpeggio. For this, I'm using Brightness from this Mega Drive sound font. It's playing the same notes in the chords, which are playing the bass notes from the bass line. It just makes everything sound like not off key, or like not dissonance, but if you're going for that, go ahead. So that sounds like this. Then what I do is, I used to not do this. I really used to just work on chords, bass, and background elements like the ARP. But after studying the genre of VGM and looking at FLPs by like Ironic, Nexus, Atom, May, or MEA, well, however they spell it, you could put a lead and it won't interfere with the vocals. So that's what I started doing. I recorded how this worked, but I had to stop the recording because I was doing something. But what I did when making this was I sung out this bit. I sung this out in my head while listening to the whole song, and then, you know, I clicked random stuff until I had something that sounded good. So afterwards, I decided I needed drums. So what I did was I got this kick, which comes from this sound pack. The Mixer's Mega Genesis Drum Pack 7. Then I put the snare on the tune 4. Then I did a hi-hat pattern, which uses a closed and open hi-hat, and I tried to like make it bouncy. From there, I added vocals. Now the problem with this is I don't sing vocals. I just place things down until it sounds good. But I'll show you how I made these. Actually, let me just play it. If we get rid of this for a second, I'll break it down. Again, I didn't sing this in my head. I might have had an idea, but unlike the melody where I sung it, I just placed down random notes. So, I alternate between full notes and half notes like this, and that makes a bounce. Let me show you the difference. This is using the same note length for most of the song, but if you switch it up and change some of them to be, you know, thinner and longer, you get a more bouncy feel. So that's what I did here. This is just a regular note, trimmed and then delayed, and then I placed the note closest to it around it. So that makes like a slide note without a slide note. Now, what I do for slide notes, like actual slide notes, is I just trim them very low, do a simple vibrato effect for anything that's long. Depending on the BPM, you'll want to make them like longer and shorter. Zipperbomb FLP is very good if you want to look at that. And that's really it for the vocals. This whole song sounds like this. No, it doesn't. There we go. Actually, this needs to be a little louder. Anyways, now, I forgot to get over this a minute ago, but how I mix is very odd. I look at other FLPs and take that into account. So, Marstar Bro, Ironic, Saster, Sturm, May, Adam, and I think Nexus are people who I study when I make VGM. And what I learned how to mix from them basically. So for the chords, what I did is just some compression, EQ, and delay. Now delay is your friend when you make VGM. Don't use reverb. You could, but it's like iffy. So I would put a delay, change the stereo offset to whatever you could see in the top left over there. Stereo offset just changes, it repeats what you hear, but to the left or right. And then input volume is just how loud it repeats itself. So I put that quiet, then I just keep that. I can't really explain what feedback volume does, but I kept that at 50 here. And then, yeah. So that's that. For the bass, I added very, very subtle delay. It's something that I learned from Mar. Mar is also very good with VGM. I don't know if I mentioned him earlier, but I study his FLPs a lot. Some compression, EQ. Then for the ARP, I just added this bit crusher. You don't need it, but I like it. Some compression, EQ, stereo delay. You could also put chorus. I tend to stray away from that when I make VGM, but you don't have to. For the drums, no, this is the melody. Okay. For the melody, I put a lot of stereo delay, or a lot, I mean wide, and then some stereo separation in, built into FL. Some EQ and compression. And that's what I do. Okay, now for the kick. I copy Mar a lot when I mix VGM drums. So from what I remember that he does is just basic EQ and compression for this. For the snare, sound equalizer, a little bit of it, and some EQ, and some stereo separation. The kick should be mono, but I keep it like that. For the hi-hat, just some EQ, compression, and subtle delay. And, that's how I mix this. If I could get it to load. Without effects, this would all sound very boring. It's very important to add stereo to VGM, or else it'll sound way too flat, way too mono. It needs to sound a little wider. I also like to pan stuff. For mastering, I just put a very small amount of OTT on the master. Adam does this too. Do not crucify me. 10% is fine. I just EQ'd around 30 to 20, and then in the highs over 18,000, and then some soft clipper. You could put delay too if you want. And that's how I got this. Oh, wait, for the vocals. I look at how May, M-A-E, I think, mixes vocals. Just compression, EQ, very shit EQ. I'm not very good at EQ, some distortion or bit crusher, and then stereo delay. And that is it. And that's that. So now you would just copy everything, uh, and add new progressions, add new rhythms, add new instruments, like a sine wave, or like maybe another arp or another melody. Just something to keep the song longer and more interesting. And that's it. You make a full song from there. This is how I learned uh, how to make VGM. Again, as I said earlier, look up those people who I mentioned. They're very good at this. Studying their FLPs and their music style has been very helpful to me. And I believe, if you put their practices into your song, you'll have a good song. This is a very basic tutorial. This is not, it sounds good, but you could do a lot more. If people like this video, I'll probably do a breakdown of Imitator, or I'll probably just record that later tonight and post it, because Imitator is my best VGM song I've ever made, and I'm sure people could want to see how that was made. So, thank you for watching.